In 2006, Caleb was driving this beautiful 1966 Mustang Coupe. It had a 302 and a 4-barrel. You could see the Krager wheels. Very nice looking car. And he had this car when he was 17 years old, and he decided that it would be best if he went down to the dealership, the local Ford dealer in Oklahoma City, Bob Moore Ford, and traded in for a 2002 Mustang V6 Oxford White convertible. I know this would be a difficult decision. It would be hard to give up an old muscle car like that, but he is getting something very nice and new, very low miles. 33,000 miles is all that V6 had on it when he got it. And I grew up with a red 66 coupe like that lived down the street, and the kid had it and it sounded good, and I always admired it. And I wanted one of those too, but the truth is the V6 with fuel injection and reliability, dual airbags, power steering, power brakes, all the stuff, disc brakes, it's a really nice car to have, especially for a daily driver. Something very interesting about this part of the story is the dealership actually decided to raffle off the blue 66 Mustang once they had it in their possession, and everybody who had bought a car from that dealership that summer was entered into the raffle, and so he had a chance to win that car back, but it didn't happen. And I know that's difficult, but it's nice that he got a new car to enjoy. And this Mustang had the 5-spoke wheels on it, which came on the V6 cars. I think they were actually an upgrade from the 3-spoke V6 wheels that a lot of the V6 Mustangs had earlier. Like mine had the 3 spokes on it, my 97. But he liked those wheels, but he didn't like them enough to want to keep them, so he decided to have the dealership trade them for some Torque Thrust 2 wheels. And while this was all going on, they took this picture of him and his 2 sisters, and I thought this was a really cool picture, especially back then in 2006 to have these cars. They were basically very lightly used and pretty new. The zinc yellow one was actually purchased by his older sister brand new, and his middle sister has the torch red one, and then there's him with the Oxford White convertible. So Caleb actually bought this car on Monday of his spring break in March of 2006. What a perfect time to get a convertible. So he daily drove the car for about a year, but he's always had another older pickup truck to drive as a daily driver. So as you can see in this picture, he added the Raxium smoked tail lights as well as the LED smoked third brake light. That looks really good on the back of this car. And as you're looking at the back of the car, you'll notice something very neat about this. The back bumper cover is off of a GT Mustang. That has the dual cutouts for the dual exhaust. The V6 does not have dual exhaust cutouts, and the V6 has a Y pipe that comes off of the catalytic converters, goes to a Y, and it's a single pipe all the way back. And I actually did the same conversion on my 97 where I had the exhaust cut on each side, and I had true dual exhaust all the way back on my car, which was a takeoff from an '02 GT that was a Celine takeoff when the Celine was adding side exit exhaust. I believe it was Celine. It may have even been Rouge that was selling these factory Ford catbacks because they were adding their own. So that's what my car had. And the 94 to 98 V6 had the same rear bumper as a GT, although it said Mustang instead of Mustang GT in the indentation of the actual bumper cover, but there were no cutouts on my generation, so a dual exhaust kit would fit my car just fine. But in this case, you can put a dual exhaust kit on a New Edge V6, but the back bumper would have no cutouts for the dual exhaust. So this is a really, really nice upgrade, and I remember a kid in high school had a mineral gray V6, and when he bought it, the car came with a mineral gray bumper from a GT and a dual exhaust kit. So I thought he was very lucky to get that. And as a matter of fact, in 2003, when I was in high school, I was looking at an '02 V6 that was Oxford White. It was just like this car, and the side stripes were black, and it was a stick shift in a coupe. But I wanted to buy that car and put the Oxford White bumper on it as well from a GT with the dual exhaust cutouts. So this is actually something that I had highly considered in high school, of having a very similar setup for myself. Of course, I couldn't afford a '02 V6 back then, and I was very lucky to have my 97. So this is a very, very good look for this car. I think all V6 Mustangs should have had dual exhaust. You know, coming from a single pipe, you do want to have that dual exhaust look, and that's something that was very important to me as a V6 owner. For 11 years, my brother and I had our V6 Mustangs, and we really liked that. It was something highly talked about on the forums. We were part of 3.8mustang.com, and that forum was later changed to 3840, or they've changed it to V6 Mustangs. I think the name of that forum has changed, but when I was on it, it was 3.8 liter Mustangs.com or something like that. And I remember being on there and seeing people doing the rear bumper conversions, and it was really important to a lot of people to have that, and I think it looks fantastic. And as we're talking about the V6 Mustangs here, this was an '03 Oxford White V6 Mustang rental car from Hertz. And this is a picture of me when I was 17 years old, standing by this Mustang as we were turning it in. And we rented this car in Chicago, and that's my mom in the background. And my twin brother and I had gone out to Illinois and rented this V6 Mustang so that we could get down to the dealership that had my 97 V6 for sale. And we bought my 97 and drove it home, but it was really hard for me to give back this rental car because it was the New Edge, which is my favorite design, and it was a really nice new car. It only had 400 miles on it. And I remember driving around in this with my mom and my brother, and my little sister had gone on the trip with us. And I just had my brother take a picture of this because I really, really liked this car, and it's very similar to the cars we're talking about here. So the next thing Caleb did was tint the windows, and that's one of the best things to do to these cars. They look so good with tinted windows, especially a white car. And he also had these halo style headlights in there. He had tinted the other ones, he had covers for the other ones, but they were really hard to see out of, and so he had these for a little while, and then you'll see later he goes back to the OEM style. And speaking of lighting, you'll notice that he has fog lights in the bumper of this V6 Mustang. None of the V6 cars came with fog lights. They actually came with these little lines in the fog light area that you could cut out. They were either plastic or rubbery pieces. You could cut them out and then add the fog lights if you would like. And I actually added fog lights to my V6, did the same thing, added a factory switch. Really good look. And as we're here at the front of the car, you can see it has the Mach 1 Grille Delete and the Mach 1 chin spoiler. A lot of people add these to their GTs and V6 cars. It really cleans up the front look of the car. Some people don't like the honeycomb grille with the pony. I like it. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I think this is a better look, and so did he, and he added this to his car. And as you can see, the stance of the car is very nice. The car sits just right, and he had added a set of H&R Sport springs for the car, for the V6 convertible. You have to make sure you get the right springs there, and also a set of caster camber plates to make sure the alignment of the front end is right now, because when you do lower the car, it changes the angle of the wheels. And speaking of wheels, you can see they've changed again from the Torque Thrust 2 wheels to a nice set of 95 Cobra R style wheels, and those are 315 wide in the back and 275 up front. Looks really good on the car. So that wheel and tire combo is very nice. You can see he even painted the brake calipers red. Looks really good. And he also did new brakes as well. So the car's only had new brakes once and one set of tires. And also just the routine maintenance. He says he's had 3 batteries and about 3 alternators too. Those alternators seem to die. I hear they're actually the same as the '03 Cobra. And I know they don't put out very well on the '03 Cobras. They die really quick on the '03 Cobras, especially when you spin them with boost. But I've heard that's the same alternator. I don't know if it's the exact same, maybe just the output's the same or whatever. But when I go to the pick-apart junkyards and look through all the V6 Mustangs, there are so many that have a brand new alternator on there. So that must be a common issue with these. I never had that issue with my V6, but maybe the 99 and later did. And as you look under the engine bay here, you can see he has a cold air intake from American Muscle. Looks really good under the hood there. And that intake manifold, I believe, is called the split port V6. I knew that was the big deal when they went in '99 to the split port, and it gained like 40 horsepower. My V6 was rated at 150, and the '99 and later were 190. And in 2003, it actually bumped up to 193 horsepower. And I've heard different things of where they get that extra 3 horsepower, pulleys, water pump change. There could be a lot of things. And I know for a fact, very interestingly enough, in '04 they ran out of 3.8 liters, and so they were actually putting 3.9 liters in some of these cars, which was from the Ford Ranger, I believe. Something else he added that looks really nice and that he made was this leather trunk liner with a metal running pony. Definitely a great showpiece. The car looks really good with that, with the trunk open. So he's owned the car now for 14 years. He's put 46,000 miles on it, and that's actually pretty low for the year and for how long he's had it. The car has never been neglected, and since he's owned it, it's always been in a garage, and for a long time he had it sitting in the garage with a cover over it. There's no dings in it, no scratches, excellent shape. He said something really interesting about the car is that the first couple of years it was registered, it was actually in Hawaii. And the dealership even told him that they believed that the car was a serviceman's car. Somebody in the military had it over there and had it shipped back. My silver GT was the same thing. And here's a picture of his wife's Red Fire '07 V6 and his together at a car show. And this is a family of Mustangs, like we talked about with him and his sisters. And he also has a '66 red coupe now, and this is his dad's '98 chrome yellow Cobra, and his grandpa has a '65 fastback. So here you can see he has the factory style headlights in it now with the clear corners. That looks really good, especially on a white car. You can see how good the tinted windows look, and those '95 Cobra R wheels with the wide ones in the back. Looks very good. You can see the tape stripes there as well. They match the beige top, the parchment color, and looking over the car just looks very nice. Very well taken care of, and the dual exhaust there. Beautiful car. Reminds me a lot. I can't stop talking about the Mustangs that I've been involved in that look like this, or my personal V6, because I have a lot of the same interests there. And there's a shorty antenna. He had mentioned he had that too as well. The red brakes. Beautiful car. Mach 1 grille delete, Mach 1 chin spoiler like we talked about. So this is a really cool story. I think it's nice to see someone who loves their car this much. You can have so much fun with a V6 Mustang, and just like I said, I had one for 11 years. I enjoyed it a lot, and it's a great car, very reliable. As a matter of fact, when my friend went to the dealership with me once, his mom had printed out a list of cars for him to look through, and on that list it said the top most reliable cars, and at the time the Mustang V6 was on that list, so I thought that was pretty cool. So really cool story. Oxford white Mustang convertible, something to have a lot of fun in, go with the top down and just enjoy. So you can see him having fun in this car. So I want to thank him for sending this story in, and the pictures and the video and everything. I want to thank everyone for watching the channel. Stay tuned for more Mustang content.